This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Let me tell you a little bit, Baker Mayfield. Did you guys hear a little Baker Mayfield? So Baker, I kind of laugh at this because Baker is trying to sell a new Baker Mayfield. And then again, he's trying to tell you that he's an old Baker Mayfield selling the new Baker Mayfield. And I know I'm kind of confusing you. So Baker, coming into year 3, obviously had the great rookie year. Surprised me, actually. Played better than I expected him to. Then in year 2, I kind of saw the Baker I was expecting. And so now, year 3, it's kind of figuring out which Baker is real. And you can't go, oh, well, they're not giving him enough. He's got more than enough. Offensive line, weapons, all of that. There are no excuses. So here's Baker Mayfield talking about his approach to season 3 of his career.
I have a different approach to this year. I think it's everybody that has been interviewed in our team has kind of, hit the nail on the head over and over about, it's just time to work. It's time to do our thing instead of talking about it. So this is the first media thing I've done just because there's no need to be talking about it. It's just time to go do it. And right now it's, kind of moving in silence, which is fine with me. That's how I used to do it before getting on a bigger stage. So I'm happy to get back to those roots. And like I said earlier, get back to the fundamentals to where I can accomplish the goals when the season comes around.
So it's how he used to do it before he got on a bigger stage. Well, I saw him in Oklahoma. That's where he was grabbing his nuts while he was talking smack to the other sideline, or when he was planting a flag in midfield, or when he was trying to run away drunk from a police officer. What stage are we talking about there, Baker? Baker is brash. Baker has been Mr. Ballsy his entire life. He's always been the guy. In fact, I don't believe Baker Mayfield has a shot in hell in succeeding in the NFL or anywhere in college, high school, if he's not brash, if he's not bold and trying to get it out there. Yeah, I know that you walk that fine line that if you don't talk it and walk it at the same time, it makes you look really bad. I get all of that, Baker. And you did a lot of talking before your rookie year, during your rookie year, and after your rookie year, and then you kind of fell on your face in your sophomore year. Now you're headed into your junior year, and you want to kind of dial it back, but that's not who you are. That's not who you've ever been. The real question is, can you ball at this level on a consistent basis, or are you a one-trick pony that they kind of figured you out? Because that's what defensive coordinators do in this league. They get you on tape, and then they figure you out, and then they say, okay, he can't do this. And so a lot of people are going to look at that Titans-Baltimore game, and they're going to go, well, they shut down that Baltimore running game, and then they made it much harder for the quarterback, Lamar Jackson. So now a lot of people are going to say, well, then let's take the ball away from Lamar in the running game and make him a passer and see if he can beat us. That's going to be the MO now on Lamar. And we're going to find out if he can answer the bell this year as a passer. We know he can run the hell out of the ball, but you can't live that way in the NFL. They're going to break you in half. Well, Baker Mayfield, they knew that you can only roll to one side. They knew what you like to do. And then they figured out, let's take away what he likes to do, and now let's see what he does. And he didn't have a counter to it. Let's take away his first option. Let's see what he's got. He didn't have a counter to it. So now he's got to come back, and he's got to show him that he can go through his progressions. He's got to show him that he can roll out the opposite direction and throw the ball. All of those kind of things. So now Baker has got it's a chess game. And defensive coordinators made their move. Now, Baker's got to counter these moves. But I'll tell you something, he's got to be himself. And that's who he is. Whether you succeed or you fail, you are going to be Brett Favre. Don't change who you are. Okay? And Johnny Manziel failed, but that's who he is. Now, he failed because he can't play at that level. Now we're going to find out. But don't try to tone down your personality. You are who you are. Oh, and one more thing. You didn't fail last year because of your personality. You failed last year because they kind of figured you out. Now you've got to counter. Has nothing to do with what you say. It's more about what you didn't do. Julius 305 in a super chat. Thank you, Julius.
I know that, dude.
Where'd you get this?
Super chat.
Oh, gnarly!
Awesome! Totally awesome!
There you go. Mike No Go Zones goes, Cleveland is where QBs go to die. Well, we're going to find out if he can survive now after this offseason.
Sounds like Baker's really confused. He doesn't know who he is, who he wants to be, who he needs to be.
Well, he better figure it out because if he fails this season, Browns fans are going to let him have it, and obviously he's not going to get a break because he was a top pick in the draft. You know, so we shall see. I listen, he proved me wrong as hell that rookie year. And then the second year I was like, yeah, no, that's what I expected. So we'll see. Some of us didn't buy Baker and some of us did. Now we'll see in year 3. He'll decide which one's right and which one's wrong because this is going to be a really important year for Baker Mayfield. He better come through. Speaking of the Browns, you guys know that the Dolphins were interested in Jadeveon Clowney, right? And I don't know if you know this, but Jadeveon Clowney was offered also a contract by the Cleveland Browns. And so Miami offered him money, but actually the Browns offered him the most money. And he turned that down too. The Browns, according to Adam Schefter on the Next Level podcast, he said, I just think he had balked to go to Cleveland for whatever reason. I think he's been hesitant to go because if he wasn't, he would have gone already because it's the most money. It's the richest offer on the table, and he hasn't taken it. Clowney's 27, remains on the free agent list out there, and apparently they offered in the neighborhood of $21 million, and he turned it down. That's weird, man.
What the hell is this guy thinking?
He goes, I don't know if people think I'm hurt because what I went through, because of the core, because of previous years. I'm ready. I'll be ready to go whenever the time comes. Whoever I sign with, the best version, they'll get the best version of me. In Schefter's report, the Browns offered close to $21 million, which was his per-year target. He turned down the Dolphins and the Seahawks at $18.5 and $17 million respectfully. Okay? Now, DeMarcus Lawrence signed a 5-year, $105 million contract, and Khalil Mack signed a 6-year, $141 million contract. I don't know if he's waiting for something like that. Okay? So I don't know who's going to commit that kind of money to him. I don't know if he keeps waiting, but the money is drying up as you wait. Not that people are being signed right now, but most everybody's been signed now. So most of the cap spaces have been taken up. Very few teams like the Dolphins still have a lot of cap space. But are you waiting for money and a contender? Because most contenders don't have money now at this point. You know what I mean? It's not like there's a lot of contenders sitting around going, yeah, we got $22 million for you. Come on down. And if you want to offer him that money, go ahead. But this is a guy that averages 9 sacks a year. I just can't give that kind of money to that guy. For the Dolphins, I understood it was a short-term deal, so they were just going to add to their pass rush, and it's not a guy that they were going to commit to long-term. And maybe that's what he wanted. He wants that $130 million deal from the Dolphins. And listen, he would have gotten that deal if it was Mike Tannenbaum in place. but Mike Tannenbaum's not in place. So I'm not sure what the hell Jadeveon Clowney is waiting for. I really don't know. Last year, it was Le'Veon Bell mishandling his career and holding out for a year and leaving 15, 16 million, whatever it was, on the table. Money he never made up for it again. Or it was 2 years ago, I'm sorry. This year, it's watching Jadeveon Clowney screw up his career. I don't get it. At this point, man, if you're somewhere in the ballpark and like Seattle wanted you, if they wanted you at a reasonable rate, why didn't you just go to Seattle, man? That's a pretty good team. You know what? If you want to turn down the Dolphins because they're in rebuild mode, I get it. You've got a rebuilt knee. You don't have a lot of time. You know, you want to make sure that you have a shot at contending, and the Dolphins aren't going to be contending for a couple years. I get that. At least I get that. But when a good team's offering you decent money, and you know you've got that knee injury, and you really have never turned into that elite pass rusher that everybody thought you were going to be, and it's not your fault, dude. You blew out your knee. The fact that you've come back from that knee and you've had a good career, it's actually a great accomplishment in his part. But he never turned into the pass rusher that people thought he was going to be. Never. At no point he ever turned into that player.
The guy that flips over the sled in practice, right?
Right.
The beast.
Yes, exactly. I just, you know, it's weird, man. It's really odd. All right, let's do this.
He's got a very inflated opinion of himself, obviously.
Yeah.